Sophia cowered as the senior managing director yelled at her for mistyping the destination in the GPS. "I am so sorry." Her apology, so deferential it was hard to believe she was speaking to her own brother, echoed softly. However, the senior managing director, acting as if he hadn't even heard her apology, raised his voice further. "You think an apology is going to fix this? You're fired. Or get naked and apologize." Even for a burst of anger directed at his own sister, there's a line, and he had clearly crossed it. I pressed my lips together firmly. "It's all right. Please calm down." At my words, the car fell silent. "I'm Ethan Miller, 30 years old. I work as a salesman in the Tokyo branch of a health food company headquartered in a provincial city." The CEO, who loves his provincial hometown dearly, had stubbornly refused to expand into Tokyo. But after persistent persuasion from the senior managing director, the CEO's eldest son, who argued they should sell their products to companies in Tokyo, this small branch was established about 2 years ago. It's just one floor in a corner of a building a little far from the station, with only 8 employees in total. The branch manager is not the senior managing director who had argued so hard for it, but the CEO's daughter, Sophia Clark. And today, this branch is filled with a tense atmosphere. A business meeting with a major corporation headquartered in Tokyo is scheduled. Our Tokyo branch is a very small company. Although we have a sales record in our headquarters provincial city and through online sales, we have little name recognition in Tokyo. The reason such a company got the opportunity for a meeting with a major Tokyo enterprise is my achievement. Though to be honest, it was nothing more than a series of coincidences. For some reason, I woke up early that day and, on a whim, got off the train 2 stops early to walk to the office. The crisp winter air felt good, and I was walking in a refreshing mood. It was then that I spotted a figure crouching in front of me. I rushed over and patted the person's back, and it was soaked with sweat. When I looked closer, it seemed to be a man in his 60s or 70s. His face was also wet with sweat. I took an oral rehydration solution out of my bag and offered it to the man. The man snatched the plastic bottle from my hand and drank it down greedily. Before I could even worry if it was okay for him to drink it all at once, the man had emptied the bottle and remained crouching for a while after. But a few minutes later, he turned to me with a big sigh and a smile. That smile made me feel relieved as well. He had started walking for his health, but finding it a bit unsatisfying, he switched to jogging, and his heart apparently gave up. Scratching his head embarrassedly, the man held up the empty bottle and praised it, saying, "I've never tasted this before, but it's delicious." I explained that its citrusy, refreshing taste makes you feel like your whole body is being hydrated, especially after sweating. It's one of my favorite products from our company. The man, listening to my explanation with a smile, pulled a business card from his jersey pocket. On it was the name of a company anyone would recognize, with the title chairman written on it. He offered me a business meeting, saying, "I'd love to recommend this to my employees." When I reported this to the head office, it was decided that I was too inexperienced to handle it alone. Of course, I understand that. I've only been working as a salesman at this Tokyo branch for a mere 8 months. This was not a deal I could handle by myself. So, to my surprise, the CEO and the senior managing director from the head office decided to join this meeting. Therefore, today was the most important day since the Tokyo branch's founding. A day to pick up the CEO and the senior managing director from the airport and head straight to the business meeting with the major corporation. On top of that, from the Tokyo branch, the branch manager, Sophia, would also be attending. This meant that our team for the meeting consisted of the founding family CEO David Clark, senior managing director Daniel Clark, and Tokyo branch manager Sophia Clark, and me, Ethan Miller, with only 8 months of sales experience. "Well, shall we head to the airport, Ethan? Are you ready?" Sophia's beautiful face looked towards me. A hint of nervousness was visible in her expression. I straightened my posture. "Yes, I'm ready," I replied, and Sophia gave a soft smile. I know it's impossible not to be nervous, but this is a deal you secured. So just be yourself and let your personality shine, as always." Her words made my heart tremble. Sophia always praises my personality. I don't have a grand personality, but I genuinely love our company's products and work with the desire to recommend them to many people. Sophia often tells me that this attitude is what captures people's hearts. I vowed to myself that today, no matter how big the other company was, I would, as always, introduce my beloved company's products without holding anything back. Waved off by the remaining members of the Tokyo branch, we headed to the parking lot. A pristine white sedan owned by Sophia was parked there. "Come on, get in," she urged, and I sat in the passenger seat. "I'm sorry, I don't have a driver's license." When I bowed, Sophia smiled. "It's fine, you don't use cars much in Tokyo anyway." Saying that, Sophia straightened her back and placed her hands on the steering wheel. Just her profile was a picturesque sight. Sophia slowly started the car. First, we had to go to the airport to pick up David and Daniel from the head office. Sophia was driving with her eyes fixed straight ahead, but after a while, she spoke up. "Let me tell you a little about my family first." I nodded in agreement. I had met Sophia's father, David, once when I joined the company. I remember him as a well-built man with a dignified face. I was so nervous, I don't remember much. The CEO is a quiet type. He talks a lot at business meetings, but he's usually quiet, so I don't think he'll talk much in the car. But don't mind him. I swallowed hard. The car ride from the airport would have me as the sole outsider among the Clark family. It was impossible not to be nervous. "And about my brother Daniel." Sophia hesitated, mumbling. "He's a bit strong-willed, and because I'm his younger sister, he can be harsh with me, but it's just how he is. So I hope you won't mind that either." I let out a small laugh. Siblings don't hold back, do they? I have a younger brother too, and I can't count the number of nasty fights we've had. When I chuckled, Sophia let out a small sigh. "You're right, family doesn't hold back when it comes to distance." The profile of Sophia, as she said that, her lips pressed together, was somehow memorable. After picking up David and Daniel at the airport, the atmosphere in the car was instantly dominated by a heavy silence. It was as if my pleasant chat with Sophia had been a lie. In the back seat sat two grim-faced men, exuding an intimidating presence. I doubt they were trying to be intimidating, but I felt a strange pressure from behind me. Should I bring up a topic to liven things up? No, everyone else is family, so I shouldn't needlessly interject. As these thoughts went back and forth, I started talking sporadically about how much I use our company's products. David responded slightly, and from there, the conversation in the car became one where only he and I spoke, while Sophia and Daniel remained silent. I spoke while occasionally gesturing, looking at the rearview mirror, and behind me to be respectful to David. That's why I didn't notice the scenery outside the window and where we were headed. It seems to be that building. We still have about 20 minutes before the appointment. What should we do? While waiting at a traffic light, Sophia turned to the back seat, and Daniel opened the car window. "Wow, that's a huge building." "Wait, what?" Daniel, who should have been looking at the client's office building, raised a suspicious voice and fumbled through his bag. Then he shouted, "Hey, this is Building 1." A sudden roar made my heart shrink. "What?" Sophia let out a small cry. "The meeting today is in Building 2, it says right here." What's going on? I also hurriedly checked outside and couldn't help but click my tongue. The building towering before us was Building 1, which originally served as the headquarters. But I had heard they recently bought a well-located building that housed another company, designated it as Building 2, and were gradually moving their headquarters functions there. Today's meeting was supposed to take place in that building too. What? But I entered it into the GPS. It was then that Sophia realized her fatal mistake. The GPS was pointing to Building 1. I hadn't seen if Building 2 was listed as an option when Sophia entered the address, so I don't know. Perhaps the information hadn't been updated. and Building 2 wasn't even an option. Both Sophia and I knew the meeting was at Building 2, but the GPS had been guiding us to Building 1 the entire time. If I had paid attention to the scenery, I might have noticed. But I was so focused on my conversation with David that I wasn't that considerate. What should I do? As Sophia stood there bewildered, a merciless roar echoed. It's not, what should I do? What are you going to do? If a company like ours is late for a major meeting like this, the whole deal is off. Do you understand? At Daniel's roar, Sophia cowered. I am so sorry. Her apology, so deferential it was hard to believe she was speaking to her own brother, echoed softly. However, Daniel, acting as if he hadn't even heard her apology, raised his voice further. You think an apology is going to fix this? You're fired. Or get naked and apologize. Even for a burst of anger directed at his own sister, there's a line, and he had clearly crossed it. I pressed my lips together firmly. It's all right, please calm down. First, turn right at the next intersection. The light turned green, and I spoke in a deliberately calm tone to Sophia, who had started the car. What? Sophia's face showed confusion, but I continued without pause. After turning right, take a left at the second intersection. It's a series of one-way streets, so even though the road is narrow, there won't be any oncoming traffic. Please drive calmly. From behind me, a disgruntled voice descended. Hey, it's all one-way streets. What do you plan to do going down a road like this? Daniel, who was likely looking at the GPS, interjected with a suspicious tone, but I cut him off sharply. If you don't have a solution, please be quiet. I'm concentrating. At that, Daniel became furious. Who do you think you're talking to? Daniel's words trailed off mid-sentence. I glanced back to see David silencing Daniel with his hand. Be quiet. With that one heavy word, Daniel fell silent. David also let out a quiet sigh. Sophia was still confused. Are you sure this narrow road is okay, Ethan? About my previous job in administration, I offered a small apology. I'm sorry, I did do admin work, but my main job was being a driver. At the interview, I lied and said I worked in administration at a shipping company. I'll explain that later. I've used these roads many times for deliveries. Taking a detour on the main road will take time. The old road gets congested at this hour. It's a difficult stretch with residential areas and shopping streets, but please trust me. At my words, Sophia bit her lip and looked forward. Okay, I trust you. Please give me directions. Seeing the determination in her eyes, I began to give Sophia the next direction. And so, 5 minutes before the meeting was scheduled to start, we somehow arrived at our destination, Building 2. We were rushed into the conference room, where I fluently explained our product. Honestly, I was worried I'd be too nervous to speak properly, but thanks to the earlier commotion, I finished my explanation without any tension at all. Compared to that heart-pounding race against time, explaining a product I love was a piece of cake. Daniel provided detailed supplementary explanations about the scientific basis. Sophia offered the product at the perfect time, and David, a complete change from the car ride, told several witty jokes, creating a relaxed atmosphere. Thanks to all that, the meeting was a great success. As if the ride there had been a lie, a cheerful atmosphere filled the car on the way back. In that atmosphere, Daniel hesitantly spoke up. I'm sorry about earlier. I lost my temper. Before he could finish his mumbled words, David sharply rebuked him. That's your bad habit. You panic in emergencies. And you said some terrible things to Sophia. Sophia cut in on her father's words. It's fine, it was my fault. I'm sorry. At Sophia's apology, Daniel scratched his head. I went too far, I'm sorry. I felt a little relieved at the heartwarming family exchange. But David still sighed with dissatisfaction. Honestly, the next CEO can't be panicking in an emergency. You need to mature a bit more mentally. Is there something on my face? David's suspicious voice made me curious, and I glanced at the back seat to see Daniel's eyes wide with surprise. The next CO? Isn't that Sophia? At Daniel's words, both David and Sophia let out a surprised, huh? I've been grooming you as my successor at the head office all this time, David said, to which Sophia pouted. That's right. I've been told to support my big brother all along, and I've been working hard to get results in Tokyo. A single tear fell from Daniel's eye. But Sophia is so talented, and she even became the head of the Tokyo branch that I had been pushing for. In short, he had been jealous of Sophia, and, at the same time, felt that his own position was threatened. Is it okay for me to be listening to this conversation? Feeling out of place, I looked ahead, and Sophia gave a faint smile. I just worked hard at my studies, which I disliked, to support you, Daniel. That's what I was always told. At her slightly sad voice, David cleared his throat. If a family-run business relies on seniority, it will fall apart. I want you two, as siblings, to work together to make the company grow. At her father's words, Sophia grinned. Of course, I'm going to make the Tokyo branch as big as the head office. And with Ethan here, it's not just a dream, right? I was bewildered by the sudden mention of my name. At Sophia's challenging smile, Daniel laughed. Oh, that would be a great help. If that happens, our company will just keep getting bigger. Ethan, I'm sorry about earlier too. Please take care of the Tokyo branch. I couldn't even form words and just bowed. I'll do everything I can for this company. I renewed my resolve. With things to do at the head office, both David and Daniel ended up heading straight back to their hometown. After dropping them off at the airport and seeing them off, it was just Sophia and me in the car again. And then the question came. Why did you lie at your interview? Yes, that topic. I resigned myself and decided to talk about my past. I got my driver's license right after graduating high school and started working for a shipping company. At first, I did odd jobs while practicing driving in the city in a used car I bought, improving my skills. As I got older, I was entrusted with more jobs and became able to handle large trucks, but I requested to be in the delivery business. I preferred the delivery business, where I could decide the route based on the day's cargo, over route delivery where the path was mostly fixed. I was living a fulfilling life, prioritizing safe driving, when one day, I slammed on the brakes for a boy who ran out in front of me, and the boy, startled by the sound and the size of the truck, fell over. Although we barely avoided contact, the boy twisted his arm in a strange way when he fell and broke it. His mother was right behind him and apologized, saying it was her son's fault for suddenly running out. She said it was only this minor because I was driving slowly enough for a residential area, but I couldn't forgive myself. I had fully anticipated that unexpected things could happen in a residential area on a holiday. I drove thinking that since I was behind the wheel of a truck every day, I couldn't be too careful. But I couldn't prevent it. I visited the child's house many times to check on him. His name was Leo Davis, and he was a very mischievous boy who loved cars, so I often brought small toy cars as a gift. His mother was apologetic at first, but gradually her face showed annoyance at my visits, and finally she told me, "Seeing your face reminds me of the accident, so please don't come back again." The shock of that moment is something I'll never forget. I felt like I had become friends with Leo. In fact, he cried a lot when I left. I thought that meant I was forgiven, but in reality, his mother couldn't forgive me. The thought that I had been thinking I was forgiven seemed ridiculous. I surrendered my driver's license and quit the shipping company. I thought I didn't have the right to drive, let alone make a living from it. More than anything, I had become afraid of getting behind the wheel. I realized that even if I was as careful as I could possibly be, accidents could not be completely prevented. So at the interview, I had already surrendered my driver's license, and I didn't want to be asked a bunch of questions. So I lied and said I was an office worker. I'm sorry. After finishing my story, I apologized while looking down, unable to look at Sophia's face out of guilt. Then Sophia pulled the car into a metered parking lot. When I looked at Sophia's face, puzzled, her eyes were filled with tears. What's wrong? As I panicked, Not understanding what was going on, Sophia bowed her head. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She apologized over and over, and my mind went blank. Huh? What? I'm the one who should be apologizing. As I tried to argue, Sophia cut me off. It was me. Sophia's words confused me even more. I was the one who told her to push you away. I told her to say, never come back. After saying that, Sophia turned her tear-streaked face to me. The person you had the accident with was my friend and her son. At that confession, my mouth fell open. What? No way. Why? Sophia sniffled and looked down. The mother's name is Emily Davis, right? I nodded. Sophia gave a faint, self-deprecating smile. Then it's confirmed. Emily came to me for advice. She said it was Leo's fault too, but he keeps apologizing and bringing gifts every time. And I don't know what to do, so I told her to just push you away. You know how they say if you break up with someone harshly, they won't have any lingering feelings and can move on? I had just broken up with my boyfriend like that at the time, so I told her to do the same. And then Sophia bowed her head deeply to me. I'm sorry. Because of my irresponsible advice, you were driven to the point of surrendering your driver's license. I hurriedly shook my head. Please stop. It was my own decision. It's true I couldn't forgive myself, but I would have surrendered it even without those last words. I was already too scared to get behind the wheel. Sophia let out a sob. How could I make her believe me? On an impulse, I rummaged through my bag. I took what I was holding in my palm, blew on it, and held it out in front of Sophia's face, opening my hand. This! On it was a small piece of paper that said, let's do our best every day with energy. When I was a delivery driver, I often made deliveries to our company. That's when I got a supplement from you, Sophia, as a sample. It was about 2 months before the accident. She slowly lifted her head and looked at me. It had 3 pills, and I took one on the spot. It might have been my imagination, but I felt my fatigue just melt away. I felt it was a waste to take the other 2, so I saved them for a crucial moment. After surrendering my driver's license and quitting the shipping company, I was at a loss for what to do when the sample supplement rolled out of my bag, as if it was telling me to notice it. I thought this was the crucial moment, so I took the supplement. It's a supplement to energize the body, not something to energize the mind. And yet, I'm a very simple person. The moment I swallowed it, I felt a surge of energy. I couldn't stay down. I went straight to the job placement office and was surprised. There was a job opening for that company. I thought it was fate. I thought what I was meant to do with the rest of my life was to spread the product that had given me so much energy. I'm simple, so that's what I thought. I took the last pill right before the interview, and I was successfully hired. Since then, this supplement has been like a good luck charm for me. I take out the regular product I bought for myself from my bag and place 1 pill in Sophia's palm. I'm happy now. Today's meeting was a huge success. So please don't feel guilty and cheer up. And if it's okay, I'd like to see Leo again. For some reason, ever since then, whenever I see toy cars, I end up buying them, and I've amassed quite a collection. I might make his mother, Emily, feel awkward again, but I can't forget the way Leo cried his eyes out at the end. Sophia nodded over and over again. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please stop apologizing. I told you, I'm happy now. When she still didn't seem convinced, I sighed. I am happy, because right now, I'm working for the woman I love, and today, I was able to save that woman from a crisis. At my confession, Sophia's eyes widened. Huh? Me? I've just been confessed to by a man who wasn't even on my radar, was the look on Sophia's face, like a deer in headlights. I wanted to at least be on her radar before confessing, but I couldn't bear to see the sad face of the woman I was in love with anymore. I'll work harder, so please don't feel bad for me. I want you to see me for who I am. I looked directly into Sophia's eyes and said it. Sophia's cheeks turned red. I'll think about it. I smiled. For now, that was enough. Energized by the blush on Sophia's cheeks, I changed the subject. Come on, let's go back to the office. We have good news to report. Sophia hurriedly looked at the rearview mirror. Oh, right. What should I do? I can't go back to the office with a face like this. Saying that, she rushed out of the car and into a nearby convenience store, and I watched her with an affectionate smile. Several years have passed since then. I'm at a large park with my friend's family. My 2-year-old daughter, Chloe, is being gently led by the hand by Leo, who is now in elementary school, to the small children's playground equipment. I glance over at the lawn and see my wife, Sophia, and Leo's mother, Emily, chatting. They've finished their lunches and are catching up. Since the children were clinging to Sophia and Emily and getting in the way, I took them to the playground. Emily's husband is at work today. I was planning to spend a lot of time with Leo as a father figure, but Leo offered to play with Chloe instead. My heart warms at his kind, big brotherly nature. I'm sure he'll be a kind big brother to the sister who is now in Emily's belly. It seemed like I had no chance with Sophia, but after my unintentional confession, she started to become aware of me. And when I pushed forward with a what the heck attitude, our relationship developed into a romance. It seems that the assistance of Emily, with whom I had been reunited through Sophia's arrangement, was more than effective. She would often say things like, "There's no one as sincere as him." And at other times, she even gave Sophia advice like, "He's persistent. So if you don't reject him harshly, he won't give up." It's true that I kept visiting Leo until I was harshly rejected, so I can't argue with that. Our relationship started with a push from both me and Emily, but honestly, I thought it would be okay to take it a bit slower. That's because I was convinced that Sophia would be my future wife. She was a friend of the parent and child who were a turning point in my life, the woman who gave me the supplement that gave me energy, and the branch manager of the company that was the first to catch my eye when I was looking for a new job. Even if we had missed each other somewhere along the way, she was the woman of destiny I was bound to meet. So, as I watched my beloved wife laughing with a trusted friend, I was able to spend all my time playing with Leo, with whom I had become close enough to be like family, and my beloved daughter, Chloe.